guys, how's it going? I'm Sydney from PhoneDog.com, and this is the Samsung Craft from Metro PCS. If you watched the review for this phone, you remember that I said it was one of the best messaging phones on the market, if not the best messaging phone on the market right now. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, okay, yeah, but it's on Metro PCS. I mean, is it really worth switching to Metro, a smaller, lesser known carrier, just to get this phone? Well, hopefully this dogfight will help you to decide. Okay, so the next big thing on these devices is the camera. And they both have decent cameras. I mean, the Laser has a 3 megapixel camera. The Craft has a, basically 3 megapixel camera. It has a 3.2 megapixel camera. So, both of those, that's a great camera. The Craft has an advantage because it has, as you can see, the LED flash, and it also has autofocus. And so, just that by itself, obviously, you can guess that it's going to take better pictures just because it has that extra ability to focus on an object. It has the flash, which is, makes it a little more handy in certain situations. The Laser took good pictures, and it was fine enough, but just compared to the Craft took absolutely amazing pictures. And so I'll go over to the gallery here. And so, here I took a picture of basically the same thing while I was outside. Same conditions, basically sunny conditions, and get both of them to rotate. So you can see the Crafts just seem to focus much better, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell from the camera, the way it's capturing it. Probably not, but the Craft just took a much better picture, simply because it could focus on that one object, whereas the Laser, it's a good picture, but it's just kind of, all around certain parts are fuzzy that shouldn't be. It's a little more grainy. It doesn't have the capabilities that the Samsung Craft has. I'll go over to another picture. This is a close-up shot, and you may not be able to tell from the video, but this picture is amazing. It's beautiful. The way that it focused, the way that it captured everything, the clarity, the color. It takes amazing pictures, whereas the Laser, again, it's fine enough. It's just not as good. It's just lacking, that little bit of extra oomph that the Craft has. So again, I'm going to give the winner to the Samsung Craft. It has an autofocus and it has a flash, and just simply for that reason, for the most part, it's just going to take a better picture. Okay, so moving on to just basic data, web browsing, social networking. Both of them have social networking features. You'll see if I go to the menu here, and I'll scroll. You saw there it has mobile email. Both of them do have email capabilities. I happen to prefer the interface on the Craft. It's just a little different, kind of makes it a little more professional, but they both have those capabilities. And then you can see they both feature social networking apps. So with the Laser, because it's on AT&T, you have AT&T Social Net. But then the Craft also has an IMing and social app. And so, both of them were satisfactory. Obviously, it's a messaging phone, so performance and the experience is not going to be great overall. I'm guessing that you probably won't use these features very much unless you have, just a quick tweet that you need to send out. But they both worked fine. You'll also notice that the the Laser has Twitter and Facebook apps. These actually just go to the mobile site. And then you'll notice I had those same shortcuts on the Craft's homepage, Twitter, as well as YouTube. Those just go to the mobile site. And actually, I ended up using those features, more than I did the actual app itself, just because it performed better and it was, much easier to get to, just loaded a lot faster. Speaking of data, the Craft obviously is a 4G phone, so you're using Metro PCS's 4G network. Not only that, but surprisingly, it also has Wi-Fi, which is strange and pretty much unheard of for a messaging phone, and I'm guessing that we'll probably never see that again, unless it's years down the road. So with the Craft, you have a definite advantage. Not only is it on a 4G network, but you have Wi-Fi where it's available. Whereas with the Laser, you're using 3G only, and so definitely speeds are going to be much better. One other thing to note about data is that Metro PCS has data and their plan set up a little differently than AT&T does. With AT&T, it's a basic carrier, you buy your plan with minutes, and then you buy a separate data plan, whether it's $20 or $15. Whereas with the Craft, everything is included with your plan. Now you do have to get a 4G plan. You can't just have the basic $40 a month plan that's pretty popular with Metro PCS. You do have to get a 4G plan, which is either $55 a month or $60 a month. So data pricing is a little different, and then obviously when you use data, when you use web browsing, or whenever you use the iMing and social app, that's all included. You don't have to worry about extra charges, whereas on the Laser, you may have extra charges, you may have to add a plan, whereas you didn't want to before. So it may be a little more possibly with the Craft, depending on how you price it. But at the same time, you don't have to worry about an extra plan or overages or anything like that. One quick note also with the Craft, it does include a micro SD card. The Laser has a micro SD card slot, but it doesn't include a card. The Craft comes with a 2 gig card. It supports up to 32 gigs, but it comes with a 2 gig card, and pre-installed on the 2 gig card is Star Trek, the full-length movie, which is pretty cool. And actually, especially watching it on the AMOLED display, even though it's only 3.3-inch display, it was pretty amazing to watch. So that's kind of a slight advantage that the Craft has. But they do both support 32 gigs of memory, both have micro SD card slots. You'll notice that the slot was on the outside with the Craft, whereas the Laser, it's so thin that really the only port they managed to fit on it was the micro USB charging port. There's no headphone jack, there's no 3.5, 2.5, even proprietary. It's only the micro USB port. So, a slight disadvantage there because the phone is so thin, and then again, the micro SD card slot is underneath the battery cover. Whereas on the Craft, it's a little bigger, so you get pretty much everything. You have 3.5mm headphone jack, you have the SD card slot on the outside. You also have a dedicated camera button, whereas on the Laser, again, because it's so thin, there's no dedicated camera button. You'll have to use, which is one of the reasons why I set up the shortcut right there to go to the camera. So slight advantage there to the Craft, just because it has a little more bulk to it. They managed to fit a little bit more on there. Now speaking of the battery, turn them over. The Craft has a 1500 milliamp hour battery. The Laser has a 1000 milliamp hour battery. So, basically the Craft is a little bit better, but actually I noticed that the Craft's battery life wasn't that great. It's going crazy. I don't know if you can hear that vibrating. It's because it was touching something on the screen. The Craft, I noticed, didn't have great battery life. It really only lasted about a day and a half to 2 days on standby. So with normal use, you're probably going to get about a day, maybe a day and a half, basically the same as a smartphone. Whereas on the Laser, definitely it was better battery life. I got about 2.5 days of use, and so that's much better battery life, even though the numbers would tell you a little differently. Now, granted, even 2.5 days is not great for a messaging phone. On a lot of messaging phones, you can get 5 to 6 days on standby. So, even 2.5 days isn't great, but it's better than the Samsung Craft. So finally, pricing. The Samsung Craft, being on Metro PCS, as you know, you have to pay full price for the phone. You don't get a subsidized price because there is no contract. So the Craft is $299 right now. It's usually $349, but as of the filming of this video, they're running a special for $299. And so, kind of a hefty price tag considering, that's a lot of smartphones don't cost that much on contract. But the Pantech Laser is $100 with a 2-year contract and after rebates. So, definitely a much better price. But then again, you are getting a lot more features that you don't get with the Laser. You're getting a 4G phone, you have Wi-Fi. To me, the AMOLED display is better. It has a better camera. So it does cost more, but to me, I think the price difference is basically, what you would expect. You're going to pay for what you get, basically, which is the general rule with phones. Okay, so there it is, guys. Laser versus Craft, 2 of the best messaging phones on the market right now. Two of the best messaging phones that I've used, in my opinion. These are definitely top-notch. As to which one is better, it's really a draw because there's awesome features about both of them. The Craft it's a 4G phone. It has Wi-Fi. It has a beautiful AMOLED display that in my opinion was just better than the AMOLED display on the Laser. It also has a much better camera, autofocus, and a flash. Then you have different things like the 3.5mm headphone jack and Star Trek being pre-installed. So awesome features with the Craft, but then again with the Laser, the UI I think was just great, very accommodating, and just overall fun. Just a lot of great customization features that I thought were just great to have. And then you have a super thin phone, which is just cool in itself, in my opinion. And then you're still getting an amazing keyboard, one of the best keyboards that I've used. And so it's really a draw. But basically, guys, you can decide and see which one you'd like to get. Is it worth switching to Metro PCS for the Craft? That's really up to you. In a lot of ways, I think it is worth it if those features are features that really matter to you. If it matters to you that the AMOLED display is better on this phone, or if it matters to you that you're getting a 4G phone, if those things matter, then yes, I would definitely recommend switching. However, if they don't matter, or if you just don't want to pay full price for a phone, then the Laser is a worthy contender. It's definitely number one. Right now it's number one on AT&T. And so, not a shabby phone to stick with if you don't want to switch to Metro. But anyway, there it is, guys. You guys can decide which one you want, Laser or Craft. But anyway, thanks so much, guys, for watching. Be sure and check out PhoneDog.com for more news, updates, and reviews. We have plenty of videos on our YouTube channel, but we have much more news and exclusive content on the site, PhoneDog.com, and then our Facebook page, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're gonna have a live chat every Friday at 2 o'clock. You guys can come and chat with us. If you have any questions about these phones or any other messaging phones, you can follow me on Twitter. My screen name is It's My Job to Know. So just follow me and ask me any questions. I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as possible. But thanks so much, guys, for watching. I'm Cindy from PhoneDog.com, and I will see you guys later.